Hey guys, listen, welcome into the building. I'm glad to see you here. We're here to review or read this we decided last night we're going to call it either a pamphlet or a flyer. We still are not sure, how we're deciding what we're going to call this situation here that I got from Amazon. It's 14.99 and it's called The Love. Can y'all see that? The Love and Joy of Robert. So allegedly, and I'm saying allegedly because actually I've been thinking about this a little bit more. Inside the book, there's no signature of her name. There's nowhere that says she's the actual author. But if you go on Amazon to purchase the book, it will say that this is by Joycelyn. Let me just go back and make sure. I want to say it does tell you that, yeah, it says Joycelyn Savage, Love and Joy of Robert. Now, here's the crazy thing. On Amazon, they gave it 2 stars and 16 people actually reviewed it. Okay. So let's talk about some things. I see you in the building. Thanks for coming. I'm glad you're here with me with this for the shenanigans. Okay. Let me just look at the reviews here because it got 2 stars. Let me go down for 1 second here. Let's see where the people actually wrote their information. I'm trying to see if I could see their reviews. It was craziness. It was crazy. Okay, here it is. One person who signed off as WTF, okay, we all know what that means. They said, did a child write this? Please don't waste your time reading this pamphlet. I'm almost certain Joycelyn didn't even write this. It's just repeating everything we already know from the media. So this person here said it's trash, and she doesn't even believe that she wrote it, right? But my thing is, if she didn't write it, why hasn't someone getting it taken down already, right? Another person wrote, I honestly am speechless, okay? Speechless without speech. Half of me don't know what to date. 3 stars because I do like the cover art, but wow, is this real? Okay, that was another one. Another person gave it 1 star. She said, this is a hot mess. If this was written by Joy, it validates why he was convicted and needs to stay in prison. And that part, this specific person, I agree with 100%. I'm like, yo, if she did write this, this is going to get him another 90 years in prison, right? Someone else wrote crappy. Graphic cover could have been better as well as the table of contents. There's nothing in the sample. So how is this a sample? If the book has been published already, where is the finished product? So maybe is she calling this a sample of the book? And she charged $14.99 for this thing. Now on Kindle, you can get it for $5.99. But we're going to get into it. And trust me when I tell you, it's not going to take me long for us to dissect this book and break it down. I see y'all all out there. Hey, what's up? So the content says, one, I guess, chapter is called The Start. The other chapter is an experience of a lifetime. The next one is our pain. The next one is sister, girlfriend, our enemy, right? And then she has the nerve to have a chapter called Come Back, Robert. Well, when the man is in his 50s, and listen, I ain't the smartest two in the 2 box, but when the man is in his 50s and he already got sentenced to 30 years in prison and he has more cases, I believe he's going through a case right now. Okay, he has more cases. So that means that come back, he's never going to come back, Joy. I'm sorry. And then the last one is Bundle of Joy. And I think that's where everybody got this whole concept that one, remember, he's allegedly engaged to her, but she does write this in this little pamphlet situation here. He's engaged to her, and she said that she is pregnant. So, and yeah, let me show y'all. This is exactly how I read it to you. Is exactly how those contents are. Can you see that? Okay. So that's why somebody said the pamphlet here is very juvenile, right? She said, I had to heal my inner self, heal my scarred heart to work on the greatest gift. And then she writes joy, right? All those who need to heal, grow, and live meaningfully. Please do it before it's too late. And then she writes again, joy. So my thing is this, please do it before it's too late. Well, girlfriend, we want the same for you. Are you listening to your own words? Please heal yourself and leave R. Kelly alone before it's too late. Okay, before you look up and your whole life is wasted on this man. that that book is going to go down to 0 in a buyback program for 2 years. I'm trying to tell you, okay, this mess right here. And then it says the love and joy of Robert. So the start, everyone. So I hope y'all can hear me. At the beginning of my teens, I knew I wanted more for myself than I currently was experiencing. Living the faith I was and prior to entering college had drained me emotionally and mentally. And I was not who I used to be. She said, now here's the thing. This is how her and R. Kelly connected, right? She said, family members touching you despite knowing you were aware of the situation felt as if you were okay for them to do so. It felt normal to me that I was unable to voice my feelings to my parents when all they did was ignore my pain. So she's telling you here that she unfortunately is a product of someone touching her. Apparently, according to what she has written here, family members have touched her inappropriately. And so they say that usually, people connect through their energy, through their situations. And that's why they always tell you, if you're in a bad relationship, give yourself some time to heal before you go into your next relationship. Because if you don't, 9 times out of 10, you will end up getting with somebody that is the same exact way of the situation that you just got out of. Are you sure it was not written by Coleslaw and what or Martel? Listen, this book is, well, I keep calling it a book, but y'all know what I mean. It's crazy. She said, I felt embarrassed and ashamed when I was unable to tell anyone. I thought it was okay to not have anyone by my side to tell me that that was not right. So she's saying that no one was there for her to tell her that someone touching her inappropriately was not right. And then she goes, Joy, the pain in my life at the time was so great, it got the best of me that I felt numb to everything. I stopped caring about everyone and wanted better for myself and my career. The only thing that made me feel better at the time was music. So she was into music. I love making music so much that I felt relieved from the pain I had built up. I had to change something in my life. It was with great disappointment that I have to share that even though I used to consider family members as family, I no longer consider them as such. Although you would think that family members would be there for you in your most challenging times, in actuality, they create more traumatic memories and horrible memories for you. So again, she had it listed, Canelo. It's actually 13 pages of words on it. It's crazy. But that piece right there that she wrote is pretty much saying that, you know what, she was not close to her family. So you can understand how someone that is young, impressionable, doesn't have a good relationship with their family, how she can fall into this situation with someone like R. Kelly, because, he probably made her feel love. He probably gave her the love that she felt she was missing in her life. And I did drop the link in case anybody wants to come up and kind of chat with me as I go through this book. Hey, Lisa, I see you backstage there. All right. Hey, Lisa,
Okay.
what's going on?
Nothing. I
All
just
right.
want to come up and let you know I'm here
All
to
right.
chat
I
with
see
you.
you. I see you.
You
Thanks
know,
for stopping by. All right.
I'm gonna
So now
stay
the
for a
next,
minute. I'm gonna stay for a minute because my show, Beverly Hills
I
gonna
know
come
your
on.
Beverly Hills about to come on. All right. I hear you. Okay.
I'm gonna stay
So
here
the
for a
next
while.
chapter is an experience of a lifetime. She said, it's like a memory of yesterday for me. When I saw Robert was going to perform in my city, I had to get tickets. I was really a big fan of Robert, so I decided that I wouldn't miss out on it. As I recall picking out my outfit and hairstyle, I was eager to catch Robert's attention. Being one of the girls that Robert called backstage on the night of the concert and just being able to attend one of his concerts was the highlight of my life. So this kind of tells you right there, there's a lot of debate on whether or not, Joycelyn parents kind of offered her up to R. Kelly, or did she go on her own? Now she's saying in her own words here that she bought the tickets, she went to the show, and she wanted to be one of the girls that he kind of took backstage once the show was over. And here, this part right here that I'm about to read is very problematic. She said it was backstage that I had an experience that I will never forget. Upon entering the backstage door, the people he had around were very secluded, watching every angle, which was understandable because it was R. Kelly. And there were many, she said, many younger girls my age backstage. The problem is, I don't know what her age was at the time of her telling this story, right? But do you think this is going to help this man in court? There were many younger girls my age backstage. Now, this is her words. My sole purpose was to catch Robert's attention as I walked in screaming at the top of my lungs. Robert immediately came to me and put his hand around my hip. Okay, so now this is a girl that he doesn't know. He just met. He put his hands around her hip, gripping her butt. This is what she wrote, okay?
Yeah.
Gripping my butt and calling me beautiful and various flattering names. Now she just met this man. She feels excited that he put his hands around her hip, gripped her butt, and he was calling her beautiful and various flattering names. She said, once I explained to him how I created music, I asked if he would like to listen to it. When I first encountered Robert, he was extremely passionate about my music. He invited me to his studio that night with his crew and a few other girls. I knew there would be competition, but he was always watching me, although there were other girls there. Yes, Sheila, she was starstruck. She stuck him out though, right? She, according to her words here, right?
Groupie
As I played,
alert.
huh?
Groupie alert. Groupie. Groupie alert.
Groupie, big time,
Yep.
big time. She said, yeah. She said, as I played my music, everyone was bopping their heads and saying, damn, girl, you can sing. So, according to her, everybody that heard her music told her she can sing and she was happy. She said it was the best feeling in the world. All Robert's friends constantly told him, I think you found your new Aaliyah. So hear me, guys. They told, he was obsessed with Aaliyah, right? And so his friends told him, I think you found your new Aaliyah. When Robert pulled me to the side, he informed me he wanted me to live with him and he would assist me in my music career. It was a very curious moment for me at the time, but I was cautious nonetheless. My answer was, yes, but I'm still in college. So now she's saying she's in college, but then she said there was a lot of young girls around. It's a mixture of stuff here going on, right? Tabitha said the jurors will nail R. Kelly to the cross if they get their hands on this IKEA manual. I'm trying to tell you. Robert also knew she was going to be one of his girls. Yes, this is a mess, right? Okay, so let me finish it. She said, yes, but I'm still in college. He responded, Daddy, listen to this. He responded, Daddy has everything you need right here. He pulled out a stack of cash. This is what she wrote. I wasn't concerned about the money at the time. I just wanted to improve my music, okay? On the night of the studio session, he became very flirty with me. And he told me he had a nice house in Atlanta, which he showed me after we finished. When I walked into the house looking at all the amazing interior, I could not believe what I was seeing. As I walked into the house, it almost felt like I was in a dream. The house was gorgeous and had everything I needed. I informed Robert that I did not think staying here was a good idea since I had school and other responsibilities. I was always persuaded by him with money. So at first she said she didn't care about the money, but now she said I was always persuaded by him with money, saying I should not leave because this is an opportunity that no one else will ever have, and if I leave, I'll regret it. When I was convinced to stay, I stayed here for 3 days, which was something my parents and friends were worried about. She said, I suppose, okay? Receiving texts and calls every minute of the day. I told Robert that my parents were concerned about me and that I wasn't sure if I could stay here any longer. I was notified 3 days ago by my professor that I had missed assignments, okay? Having been absent from class for 3 days, I was concerned about this. After Robert came to me and told me that he had all this money, I did not need to attend college anymore, as he gripped me around my waist and whispered, Daddy will always be here for you, and he will make you the best star I can be. Okay. So I was staying in Robert's guest room writing music for these 3 days, keeping me distracted from this big life decision. I didn't have any clothing here. Robert bought me, now this is crazy right here. Robbie brought me some regular clothes to wear and some very sexy and grown up outfits. I had no clue why he brought me these hoary outfits. This is what she wrote. Okay. Yes, he was grooming her. He was grooming her. You are correct. I had no clue why he bought me these hoary outfits until his assistant informed me that Robert wanted me to wear it for some occasion, which was a spandex and a see-through bra. I didn't question it, thinking perhaps he wanted me to look cute. Toward the end of the night, Robert came into the guest room, sat near the edge of the bed, and asked me, "Who's daddy?" I answered, "You." And he replied, "Good girl." You know what, Abby Shell? You said it. I wasn't getting it at first, but you were right. He was grooming her. And he knew she was, I'm going to say, for lack of a better word, he knew she was broken and she was going to be an easy target, so to speak, right? So she goes, "I was nervous, but Robert assured me that it would be okay. He placed his hands around my neck." Did you hear what she's writing here? And listen, if you are one to get triggered, maybe now is the time to stop listening because a lot is about to happen in a few moments. Okay. Daddy, wow. She was really starstruck. She was starstruck. She was broken in a sense because she wasn't close to her family. She already was traumatized because she was touched by a family member. It was a lot, right? Remember, she stated family members were touching her. She was a prime catch for his perverted thoughts and ways. She most certainly was, Lee, and it's very sad, right? So she said, "I was nervous, but Robert assured me that it would be okay. He placed his hands around my neck, making it difficult for me to breathe." Do you think this is going to help his current case? This is a mess, right? And he called me names that I never suspected him to call me, a whore and a slut. Okay, these are her words, all right? Um, Look on the bright side, I paid $1 a page. I know it's crazy, right? Um, so afterwards, he told me to remove my bra so he could see my breasts better. I felt very uncomfortable since I never done this with anyone else before. I'm taking it when she wrote that particular sentence is that she was a virgin. That's how I'm taking that particular sentence. In the beginning, I had no concept of what kinks were. Okay. So she's trying to say she didn't know what kinks were. But Robin
Kinks.
had quite a few. Go ahead, Lisa. You
What
want to say
now?
something?
What you
Huh?
say? Kinks.
Kinks, Kinks. Okay. So
What
she's
it
saying
is?
she had like I guess that he has some kinky kind of perverted habit, right? She said,
Oh,
but Robert had quite a few. It opened my eyes to a lot that I never knew and was very interested in, but quite disgusting when you think about it, right? So she was kind of confused, didn't know what to think about this situation. It was a mess. She said, "I stripped off my clothes in the bathroom as Robin instructed me to get nasty with him." So she calls it getting nasty, right? She said to get this is she said Robert instructed me to get nasty with him. Um, oh man, he's never going to see the day light of day again. Let me tell you something. This book just confirms everything that everyone's been saying about him. That he does or did. She said it.
but he had kinky. I mean, yeah, the book, yeah. Yeah, he had kinky ways. It's not against a lot of her kinky ways. Okay, but it's like what? How old was she when doing this? Okay, because it remind. I'm gonna tell you the two as you talking. It just reminded me. That's a little bit. That's a little bit. It reminded me of Christian Grey and Anastasia. When you know how kinky he
Oh yes,
was.
yes, yes.
Yeah, it reminded me
Yeah,
a little
but
bit
I
of that.
think she
I'm
mentioned the word young girls before backstage, Lisa. I don't, she doesn't tell her age in here, like when this was all happening. I'm thinking she was young. And yes, she was just lost, Nina Loves, just lost. Diva, I didn't catch how old she is now. Can somebody Google how old she is now? I'm not sure. And I'm not sure when this happens, but then she talked about college, and I'm thinking college, you got, well, in most cases, you probably at least 18. But let me
yeah.
continue. Now, this part, guys, I'm sorry, it's disgusting, but I'm going to read to you. It's not that you didn't hear it before, but I'm going to read to you what she wrote, right? She said, "As soon as he urinated on me and inside my mouth, I felt compelled to vomit, but I didn't. After a few nights of doing this with Robert, I became used to it. He loved to try new things with me. He made me lick his anus. and it turned me off. Now this is terrible. She wrote this, okay? She said, and it turned me off. But he brought me whatever I wanted if I did that for him. Um, it's just, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Woo!
So, oh, she's 26 now, so she's young. She's young. So that leads me to believe that she was really young probably when she actually met him. Okay, if she's only 26. So yeah, this was crazy. Okay, in your mouth, and you got used to it after a while. Okay, now the next chapter is our pain. Robert was very aware of what happened to me and the problems of my parents. So I cried to him and told him all the stories I had suffered because I had no one to listen to my stories of pain for all my life. He made me feel relieved as if he were my therapist. Yes. So he said, as if he were my therapist. Oh, let me mute him. As if he was my therapist. So she kind of felt like this man in her mind was her savior. But he was no better than a family member that actually violated her, or family members that violated her, during that time period. It's like absolutely crazy. Um, Camilo, you gotta mute
You know I'm
yourself.
about to get ready to go live in a minute myself.
Camilo, he's you gotta mute yourself, back. You gotta mute your TV. Okay. Since Sin City, you are in the building. What do you want to add to this?
I'm disgusted. Wait a minute. Hi, everybody.
Hey,
How you doing?
I'm
Good
good,
evening.
Lisa. I've been worried about you. I'm glad to see you. Um, why did she write this book? Who did she think it was going to benefit?
I think she's so naive, to be honest with you. I think she is stuck in the time period. You know how sometimes when people have trauma at a young age,
Mm-hmm.
they grow up chronologically, but their mindset gets stuck at their age where they had that trauma. The way that this book is written, it's like written, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful to it, it's written in a very juvenile way. It's set up in a very juvenile way. And the cover, it can lead you to think that the story is a little different. People got to be, well, I guess that most people might know who she is before they purchase the book. But when you see a cover like this, The Love and Joy of Robert, you would never think what's in this book is what's in this book if you didn't
You
know
sure
who he
don't.
was.
I mean, that is so disgusting. And we shall. But you know what though? Like I said, she was a groupie, and that was something no groupies have to deal with that kind of stuff. The be with them walk. I mean, you out here something though, that ain't nothing because some of them girls who been with major rock stars like groups like Aerosmith and Motley Crue, they can tell you some stories, baby. What those men had them doing. You know what I'm saying? And if you
Yeah,
didn't
but
do
you know what
like
though?
they used
To me, right, Lisa. But see, the thing is, it's all good if it's consenting adults of a certain age, right? But
yeah,
it
but it
becomes
seemed like to me she like she
problematic.
was in college though. If she was in college, she had to be around by 18 or 19 years old. Okay,
She could have been
so when I
17
say,
because go ahead.
I
She
mean, to
she
me,
could have
you
been
know what I'm saying?
she
I
could have been
mean,
17 though.
these girls been doing this stuff, though. This girls like this been doing stuff like this a long time. And I'm gonna tell you something. This not the first stories I heard like this about musicians doing this kind of stuff. You heard the story between like Elvis Presley, like one woman she was talking about. They used to stand outside Elvis Presley house. She said we could do anything to get up in there what they want us to do, to get up inside here just to
Yeah,
meet everyone. And they did some stuff in that baby dog. Okay. So, they did some stuff in Graceland. So when he was alive, so this stuff for him really don't surprise me. Like I said, it remind me just a little bit of Christian Grey and Anastasia. Just a little bit. I don't think
yeah.
Anastasia, we never seen
Somebody
Anastasia.
has hold on one second, Lisa. Somebody has something playing in the background.
It may be me. Hold on. I
Yeah.
thought I turned it down.
Okay, mute yourself. Okay. So yeah, but her, I think it's a lot more going on because she has this trauma. I think when she ran into Robert, it was almost like just running into another victim. Sin, did you want to say anything before I continue reading?
I did, but I forgot Lisa took over as usual. I'm
My
just
fault.
kidding.
Camilla,
Before y'all,
did you
is
want to
it
add something before I continue to read?
is it everything? Can y'all hear me? Is it any
Yes.
echo?
No.
No echo. Okay, that was my TV. What I'm just gonna say is, we all knew R. Kelly did this. R. Kelly was a nasty monster back in the early 1990s when he was with Aaliyah. We all didn't really know at that time until all of it came out. So all of this right here is not shocking. If y'all saw that video of him doing that to that young girl, I'm not gonna describe it because everybody should know. If you seen it, that's when his downfall should have taken place, and he should not have even been on the street. He should still be locked up to this day if the jury would have did what they were supposed to do.
Well, it's hard for a jury to do what they're supposed to do if he's getting witnesses to swear that it wasn't him,
That is true.
and then her own parents, for that particular video in that case, said it wasn't their daughter. It's messy. Let me continue on.
Go
She said,
ahead.
I told him everything, and he was there to wipe my tears off my cheek, and told me that it was not okay. That who is that? That it was not okay that happened to me, and that we were going to make things better from here on out. He has struggled with the media for years, okay? Portraying him as a horrible monster when he only wanted a perfect girl. What does she mean by he only wanted a perfect girl? He explained to me that losing Aaliyah has caused him to do horrible drugs, and that he had to deal with his demons, okay? As much as he wanted me to become Aaliyah, so he wanted her to be Aaliyah, right? He was afraid of losing me, which led him to become extremely demanding, obsessive over me, and unable to let me leave his sight at all. Robert started to call me his sexy little Aaliyah. Somebody is making
That ain't
okay. Lisa, is that you?
No.
Okay, no, I'm just asking. I'm just asking. I'm not trying to blame you. Okay.
I
So he
put
says,
you first
okay,
in that, baby.
let me finish. So demanding access of me and unable to let me leave his sight. Robert started to call me his sexy little Leah, or sometimes just Aaliyah, but I would have to remind him that I am Joy. Since he did not like that I was on social media, and I think that's why you can't find this chick on social media now. She says, since she did not like that I was on social media or in contact with anyone, I became isolated from everyone. But at the time, I felt this was okay since I had everything I wanted. I had money, we were traveling, and I had everything I needed. It seemed I was always being monitored by Robert's team. In fact, he pays them very well, and they have signed NDAs not to speak ill of him or say anything negative. He even paid them to manage me to make sure that I did not say anything negative in public. So he highly controlled her. She is used to not being on social media, and I think that's why you can't find a trace of her on social media now. And she was also trained not to speak ill of him. So, do you remember when her and the other girl did an interview? I want to say with Gail King, once he had got like locked up or arrested, when they was about to, bring him up on all the charges. Did she not sign the NDA? Oh, you know what, Sid? You know what? The thing is, you talking about because she made this book, right?
Yes.
Maybe I don't think that she feels that this book is negative towards him. I think that's how warped her mind is. I also don't think that she realized that this book is incriminating. Um, it's 13 pages or whatever many pages that can sink his ship for this case that he has going on right now. And he already
Even
got 30
deeper.
years.
Even
So
deeper.
yes, I'm listening.
No, I said even deeper.
Yes. It was rumored years ago that he was like that. I believe her. Oh, I definitely believe her, right? Because this is what all the people been saying about. Now, listen, this is when she on the low, like we stupid. I mean, if you know the story, you know the story. This is on the low where I think she's talking about the other chick. that was with her, but she doesn't mention her name. So this particular page is called Sister, Girlfriend, or Enemy, and it says my experience traveling with Robert for every concert every day was fun yet exhausting. Jumping from city to city and receiving all this free service from his team was amazing. Watching him perform some of my favorite songs from the side of the stage made me fall in love with him even more. I
Oh
didn't
God.
like Robert. This is the crazy part, right? I didn't like Robert inviting girls backstage while performing at each concert, even though some of the girls, listen, hear this chick, even though some of the girls were strangely young.
Mm,
I couldn't say much about it.
mm.
Although Robin had his eyes on this one girl, she was very energetic and trying to show off her singing skills to Robin and just trying to impress him in all ways, which I thought was really corny at the time. Robin decided to take her with us on the road with us, okay? Robin informed me that I am still his baby girl, even though he wanted her to join the relationship with us. I was here for it due to the fact that she was way younger than me. Now, this chick is only 26 now. So she wasn't 26 then. So this girl she's talking about was way younger than her. They're going to bury this man under the cell. Robbie gave her everything she wanted, including money, new clothes, luxury bags, and jewelry. At that time, the new girl was traveling with us, was going through a mental crisis. Now, this is what she's saying about the chick. She explained to me that she did not know what to do and that her parents were concerned about her. Now, she says clearly here, we were instructed not to inform anyone of where we were and what we were doing. So they believed that she had gone missing due to the fact that she did not contact them. Now, this girl, she's collaborated some of the stories that others have said, right? Here she goes. Our phones were confiscated a couple of days later by Robert's team for safety reasons, explaining that people could possibly track our IP addresses and we could not use cell phones. Robert's team was nice in public, but very rude and demanding when things did not go their way. We were able to keep our phones, but not at all times when Robert's circumstances became difficult. In spite of the fact that I looked at the new girl as my sister, Robin felt that we should get closer. Even though I consider her a sister, Robin and her had been intimate just a few days in, but I didn't like that. But of course, Robin persuaded me into getting nasty with her. And he made us do kinky things while recording us with him. She was into it, but over time it became she was into it, but over time it became normal. As soon as we returned to Atlanta, I moved into Robert's room. After that, the girl took the guest bedroom that she used to be in. We did the same thing every night, doing sexual favors for Robert, which became tiresome for me. Jason, you saying this is BS?
Look.
Crazy K, you say his ship is already sunk, but she's about to get him another 90 years in prison with this mess. I wanted to record and work on music, yet we barely did that. He promised that we would visit the studio a few weeks, but we never did. When Robin started giving her money, gifts, started lying, the girl snapped, and they had a huge argument. Now here's some mess. You ready for the mess?
I'm
Here go the
listening.
mess. She missed her family and decided she didn't want to be here anymore. Robin put his hands on her. I'm like, is this girl serious? And left her
Mm.
with a black eye and several bruises. Okay. My apologies. She turned 27 in late July. Abishai, that's fine. But you know what though? That still means this chick was young when all of this was happening. She's been with him for a while. Thank you. Thank you so much for that. And thanks for the super sticker. I truly appreciate it. Okay. So she said, and he gave her a black eye and several bruises. Initially, I wanted to jump in, but some of Robert's team stayed at the house and stopped me. This eventually became tedious, writing music every day and not being able to record any pieces because he had other important businesses to handle. So listen, here's the thing with this piece right here. It confirms that he doesn't know how to keep his hands to himself. He put his hands on the ladies. It confirms, according to her words, that he liked the younger woman. Jason, I think you being messy. You say all of this women lie. all of this woman lie. You say she's a liar. I don't know. I think
No,
things happen to her. Go ahead, Canelo.
I would say I don't believe everything is a lie, but the thing is, just like what you just read, he knew he was not going to put these women on. He making them think he's going to put them on as long as they stay with him. Who has he birthed yet since they, who's been in the music circuit since they've been with him? Name one.
Wait, what do you mean? Say that again.
Like, he everybody that was with him, he promised, or either their families told them that he promised to put them on the music scene as long as they was with him. And as long as they was with him, they was all you just read. She said, writing music and stuff had become hard because he was doing other business. He was never intending to put them on. He just wanted them there for what you just read, for his pleasures and his, gratification. That's what they was there for.
That's all I can see it for too, Kilo. I mean, this stuff. I mean, I don't know if it's a lie, whatever, but it sure do seem like it's telling the truth. And you know what? Mostly it's her fault too, cause you stayed like a damn fool, and I don't believe she was that damn young. Okay, so you knew what was going on. Once he started putting his hands on that girl, baby, I would have packed my shit up and left. I'm sorry. Don't I can't see I don't I'm trying to imagine because I've been in a abusive relationship and not that for a whole year. But after that year was up, it was time me and dude split up. Do you ain't the right one for me? It's time me to go. You
But you know what,
stayed.
Lisa, you gotta understand that she was really broken before she even got with him. And somebody said it earlier, he was grooming her. Now wait,
Hmm.
Amy J said, "Are you sure this is Jocelyn Savage or is the book by Azriel?" I think it's Jocelyn, and when she's talking about the sister friend and the girl that got beat up, I want to say she's talking about
Ashley.
Azriel.
Hmm.
But this is her side. This is her version of things, right? She said, after living with Robert for a few months, I didn't like him for what he turned into. But me and the girl became close over time, and we promised to always be there for each other, no matter the scenario. Well, I thought. But once she saw how flirtatious Robert was towards me, she developed a lot of animosity towards me. We did get into a few arguments. One day we were cool. The next day I was a B. The next day we were like sisters. I think being here with Robert has caused her to become very bipolar. So listen, she messy boots, right?
You
She gonna
got
call
them
this other
numbers.
girl. She done called the girl bipolar, talking about she had a mental breakdown. She's messy, right?
She
Um,
got
she
her
said
nerves.
she got her nerve. She said it was like an on and off switch. I always told the girl she was a great singer, and I tried to give her advice. You just like the blind leading the blind. You trying to give her advice, you're both there. She said, but she just always gives me the stank, stuck up attitude. Eventually, Robert took us to the studio so we can record the songs we've been working on for months. We laid down background vocals for a few tracks he promised he would release in the coming months, and we actually recorded some songs for him that never got released. Go figure, or we shot. Robert and his team prepared us for interviews every other week. So do you see how they was preparing them to keep their mouth shut? Um,
See?
yeah, she said, in case we were required to speak out. And we had our good days as well as our terrible days. We did that. And we read lines over and over until we had it right. It was exhausting. So that is why when they did that interview, I want to say the interview was with Gail King. They were so rehearsed. People felt like they wasn't using their own words, and it's because they prepared them for that the whole time they was with him, right?
Hmm.
She said it was exhausting, but Robbins made sure we were doing everything correctly. He gave us a list of things we were not permitted to mention in interviews. And if we did, he threatened us with consequences. There was no doubt in my mind regarding the fact that we was under a spell because Robert made us feel so special no matter what he asked us to do. He made his language to us very sensational and sexually overpowering. Most of the time, we were unaware what was going on in the media because we had no social media. But we assumed it was for a bad reason. But he told us that publicity is always a positive thing. So he was just messy. It sounds like it was a cult, like a James Jones or a Charles Manson type of community he had going on. He had a mess going on. He definitely had control over these girls, and that could be part of why he always picked a young girl. But even though there was some adults within, this situation with him. So this is the page labeled Comeback Robert. When we learned that Robert was going to be sent to prison, we thought that it was the end and we would have to split. Even though the girl was ready to leave, but stayed for money instead. So she's disrespecting this girl throughout the whole book, right? Despite the fact that Robert and his team made sure we were set, he didn't want us splitting up and leaving. In spite of being aware of his actions and the reasons for his imprisonment, the girl felt that she needed to leave since Robert was no longer present. His team managed our every move, but she decided to leave. Although she kept telling me that she was going to leave, I advised her to wait. On the day I and the girl argued, Robert's team booked us a couple of nights at his condo. Why did they have to book them a couple nights at the condo? I don't know. She believed she could embarrass me and expose me to the world when I had been nothing but a sister to her. At some point, we ended up fighting for the first time. I snapped due to the stress Robert was causing for being sent to jail, but she was making matters worse by arguing with me constantly. After Robert's team had difficulty controlling the girl, she threatened to inform the world that if he did not let her go and their contract with her, she would tell the world. They decided to let her return home. They informed Robert that it would be best if she simply let her go and return to her family. The end result was that she smeared my name all over social media, and Robert's team told me not to get swept up in it. Um, crazy, right?
This is
So
her payback.
this is her
Mm,
payback, right? So listen,
mm,
there's allegedly the ultrasound, and after I read this last page, we'll get into it, right? Because that's where
mm,
everybody's getting that, oh, she's pregnant. So she labeled this page "Bundle of Joy." As a result of being unable to speak to her, speak to or hear Robert after he was sent to jail, I really missed him. Robert found ways to surprise me with gifts he sent to me. However, it was not as meaningful as him being here in person. His team informed me that
mm,
they are working hard to clear his name and he could be released soon. But I knew that wasn't happening anytime soon. When I awoke on the morning of the following day, Robert's team had delivered another gift to my house, and it was the most beautiful engagement ring I had ever seen in my life. Tears were raining down my cheeks, and I was overwhelmed with joy, but also with sadness. I wanted Robert to witness this very special moment in my life. Months later, I began experiencing severe sickness and was unsure, morning sickness, and was unsure what was wrong with my body. I thought I had contacted C19, but the most amazing news of all was that I was expecting. It was a happy but incomplete time in my life. Today, I'm grateful to God for giving me the most precious gift. Robert is extremely excited about the news. I'm having a baby and feels sad that Robert won't be here with us. Okay. Um, do we believe this whole baby situation? Remember, this whole little pamphlet, we have no timelines. I don't know when this ring came to her. I don't know if it was the beginning of him being arrested and put in prison. I don't know if it was the middle. If it was the beginning, perhaps she was pregnant when he got arrested and then he sent her the engagement ring. I don't know. And again, this could have came off the internet, this picture. But it's an ultrasound. Usually ultrasounds, they have the patient's name and a date on it and some other stuff. What do you think about this?
I'm gonna tell you like
oh my.
this, and I'm not surprised she might be pregnant now. You know what I'm saying? Because baby, I'm gonna tell you something. When the warden go home, and now everybody when it's just the prison guards in there, the prison guards work at nighttime, baby, you got enough money, you can make anything happen at nighttime. Okay, to them guards. Okay, they know how to turn them. They know how to turn them cameras off, and they probably did sneak her in there so she can have sex with them, have sex with him. I'm not. I won't be surprised. I won't be surprised if they did that, and so she did get pregnant. You know what I'm saying? So we don't know what the timeline is on all of this. So it's I mean, hey,
We don't know the timeline. She doesn't give timeline. She doesn't give dates. She doesn't really give many details. Leslie, you know what? Where's he getting his money from? Here's the thing. Where did he get the 28K that was on his books in the jail that they seized? So there's
Yeah.
money somewhere. There's money somewhere hiding somewhere. Something going on. You know what I mean? So, but I get it. Like we're and
Why they seized
you
the
say,
$28,000? I never understand it. Why did they seize that?
well, because when you are part of a court case, you owe fees, you owe court fees. So they seized it one. Now, I don't know how factual this piece is. Someone told me that you can only have $500 on your books at a time. So if that's the case, he was way over $500 to begin with, right? But in addition to that, because he owed court fees that he did not pay, and he had this money sitting on the account, the prosecutors or someone said, take the money, and they took everything but $500. He's lucky that they left him with the $500. So, Dr. Love, you said it's not true. No, not true. Okay, tell me what part is not true, because I don't know. I was going with what somebody said, but I do know they seized the money. They seized the money because he had outstanding court fees that he owed.
I read the same thing, Diva.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
Yeah, he was only left with $500, but they were. I don't even know how the system was able to accept that much if you can't have that much. You know what I mean?
right.
Because it usually will default at the minimum or at the maximum and make you enter another number. I don't even know how the system was able to take that. It shouldn't have been able to take that in the first place.
I see what you're saying. It shouldn't even have been able to go up to the $28,000.
Right, right. If they
Right.
put in 550, it should have said the most you can put in is 500. Right?
And you know what? True that. But see, you know what? Again, I wonder if these celebrities, because it's celebrities, they get away with a little bit more. Like it's craziness. And my thing is, listen, what was he going to do? I mean, I know he's in there for 30 years, right? But like, I don't know, how much can you spend in a month at the commissary? That like was this 28,000 going to last the whole 30 years almost? That's what I was pretty much trying to say.
It will last them
No.
a while because I mean the stuff that they have in commissary they pay a good penny for, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh
Okay.
yeah.
That's part about the book. That part about how much you can have on the books. Oh, so you're saying that, Dr. Love, you got to talk to us. Are you saying that he can have more than $500? Or you're saying that the $500 is correct? You got to talk to us, educate us here. So that's pretty much the gist. Okay, so let me read the rest is just her little pages of quotes. She said, moral of the story, follow your dreams, flow with the unexpected things of life. Girl, you flowed with the unexpected and it was messy. Okay. The next little quote she wrote, don't be afraid to get away when things get tough. Run, run, far, far, far away. Joy. But girlfriend, you didn't run. But I mean, well, thank you for, I don't know, I guess good, thanks for the tip. Then she goes, not everyone is family. I had to learn the hard way, and I'm happy I did. I'm healed. Joy, Joy, you're confused. You're not healed.
Um,
You're not healed. Yeah, you also
I
have to buy
can't.
protection, Diva. You know what? Yeah, that's the thing though. But now he can't buy protection because they seized the money. The money is gone. So listen, guys, save your money. 14.99. I paid for this. Okay, 14.99. I paid for this.
My poor
And
diva.
but I know. But
Well,
listen,
you
I
took it
really
on the
think
baby.
Dr. Love. Hold on one second, guys. Dr. Love, I'm about to add you to the stream. I really think though that she helped incriminate him even a little bit more with her little tidbit of sentences. Right? The girls were strangely young. Girl, what is strangely young? 11, 12, 13? Like what the heck? Okay. You talked about how he beat up the girl. Oh my God. Dr. Love, you're in the building. What education you want to give us about this situation?
Okay, the first thing to say is that I heard he had funds on other people books that were in the jail, and people who had not received money and received money. From my understanding, I think each person had like $5,000. And then
Whoa.
when they interviewed the individuals, because those people one of the guys they were saying would only get $100 to $200. So
Okay.
they were interviewed. It was found out. It was sent in for him, and that money. The only way your money is seized if you owe the courts, you owe people, what they call them victims. If you have victims, you owe. Like if any of them girls would have sued him or the moms, he could not even have 500 on his books. So if they took everything but 500, then that must have paid off his court fees. But I don't understand how
Well,
he
see,
didn't
but
pay
you
his.
know what that particular article said the court fees were like 130. It was very high. It wasn't just the 28,000 wouldn't have covered it. So that's why I was shocked that they even left him with the $500. Maybe they was just being kind. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't understand either how he paid all these lawyers and didn't pay these court fees because he has plenty of money somewhere.
Yeah,
See,
I'm
that's
I'm
what I
feeling
believe
that
too.
way
He had
too.
money
Right?
somewhere, doctor. I'm like you, doctor. He got some money somewhere, and just like other PP Pop got money hidden overseas. You know what I'm saying? For a
Mm-hmm.
rainy day,
Mm-hmm.
and this is the big rainy day. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, I just don't know about
Or
this book.
someone.
Like you said, how I
Mm-hmm.
mean, just like you said, save my 14.99, and You need to go back to
Yeah, save
Amazon.
your 14.99. But let
Now
me
you
ask.
need to go
So
back to
so
Amazon. Go back to Amazon. Tell Benzo, leave the space alone.
now I'm gonna take the hit, Lisa. I'm gonna take the hit. But
Tell Benzo that
so
you want your
Doctor,
refund.
you
Tell
know,
Benzo.
I'm gonna take the hit, Lisa. Hold on one second, Lisa. So Doctor Love, so you're saying that this $28,000 wasn't totally on his books. They got slick and they split it up and had $5,000 like on other people's books also.
That's what I learned. That's what I last heard in the blogs like a week or two ago. Yeah, that's what
Okay.
I last heard. And I know, like in Ohio, there is a limit, but it's like $5,000 to $6,000. And
You can
I'm
have
not.
that much on your books?
Oh yeah, because you have people in this world who is his fans, okay? Who are just writing him or write people, give them money. If you got just think, if you have, let's say, 20,000 people give you $20, and I am quite sure he had that probably most likely happen. And there's no regulation on those books really, but the only thing that gives it away is the fact that so much came in at one time. So that's what gave it away. So it was like he made a call, spoke his code language, gave his code people names, had to give, whose books to put it on and things along that nature. But it can be done. It's always done for them stars and celebrities, people like what's his name? Mike Tyson. He had close to 100,000 on his books.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
But of
Yeah,
course,
Ti
it
did
wasn't
too.
just
Ti did
his
too.
books. Oh yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
too, right.
Mm-hmm.
Ti too. But it
Yeah.
just wasn't their books.
Yeah. They got a thing
Well,
called
that
JPay. They got a thing
that
called JPay. They got a thing
yeah, well,
called
that's
JPay.
right,
Huh?
right. That's interesting to me that that much is allowed because it's like, well, how much are you really buying at this commissary? I mean, you could get something for everybody in your cell block or whatever.
Yeah, you
So
can
When
be a
it
that's
comes to
millionaire in
that,
jail.
huh?
so
Yeah.
that's
You could
not.
be a millionaire in jail.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. You could be big time
I
in
mean,
jail
I'm
with
gonna take
money.
from
So
my
that's
point of
not
view because
how
I've
it
been there.
goes. That's not how it
I
goes.
did that. I did send money and pay thing because it's a thing called JPay. JPay where you can write letters. You got to buy the stamps and everything. And then it's
Hmm.
also I forgot this thing where you got to put money where they can call you, and that's a lot. Cause I know, but when I was dating a
Hmm.
dude named Mono, and
Hmm.
when I told y'all this, I was going up back and forth to Michigan. Been on the bus many times, baby, for about 4 years, going back and forth to Michigan. And I
But you
did
know what,
JPay.
though,
I used to
Lisa,
send him
we
30. I
we
used to
do
send him $30,
understand.
$50. I even
Wait,
seen
but
them.
Lisa, hold on one second. We do understand JPay, right? We do understand, 40, $50, $100. Hey, I could understand $500. But when you're talking big money like that,
Mm-hmm.
it sounds like excessive. It's like insanity. It's like, okay, how much oodles and noodles and stuff can you get from the commissary? That's gonna I don't know. Like, I guess you helping people out in your area. Now,
You
what
can
did you
you can
think?
also buy a box. You can also buy a box with stuff. They got a list. They send you a list. You only buy $80 worth of something. You can like a big everything they need because they did it several different times. And he used to send me a list. He used to send me a list. I forgot what company that does it. JPay don't do it. It's another company does it. They give you he give you a list everything he needs from cough syrup, from food to clothing, socks, soap, everything.
Yeah,
You
name
know, even
brand
buy him a TV. You
tissues.
can buy him a TV in there.
Oh, you
Yeah,
saying tissues and everything? Hey, nice.
yeah.
You know,
Also,
Okay.
so
Yep. Okay. So
so
hold on one
these
second, Lisa. Hold on one second, Lisa. Go ahead, Dr. Love. What was you gonna say?
also, when they have that type of money and they buy that type of commissary, they can buy other things. Like, in other words, you could pay somebody with 2 pieces of Hershey candy bars and get your hair braided. Okay, you can. Um, Back in the day, cigarettes was the truth. Like, that was the say all. And then when they gamble in there, they use that as well. They'll put up noodles, or they'll put up candy bars to play spades and to play dominoes and things like that. So, or you could be paying for a bodyguard. A bodyguard could be somebody who gets no commissary, and he give you his list to give to your family, and he protects you the whole time you're in there. Sometimes it's 2, 3 bodyguards you paying for. And with him being a celebrity, I feel like he's paying for a lot of bodyguards. So yeah. Or the
Mhm.
COs, he could be paying them for that type
yeah,
of money to
he
come
paying the but he
in.
paying the guards too. Yeah, that's sometimes
Exactly.
that's what I say. I won't be surprised if they, like I said, at the nighttime when the warden is gone, when the main
Mm-hmm.
executive people of
Mm-hmm.
the prison is gone, and no
Mm-hmm.
guards be there. They know how to cut the security. They some security cameras off, and it's not surprised they probably sneak her
But
in.
you know what though, Lisa? Listen, let me tell you something. I went to do nursing in a prison. It's not that
Ooh,
easy. I mean, it depends on what prison, jail, whatever you're
Mm-hmm.
in.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that easy because even when you work in these prisons, you can't just run out to Dunkin' Donuts when you feel like it, or
Oh,
Starbucks
right.
or Target or whatever. There are certain times where you can move in and out of those prisons when you are a civilian, so to speak, like you're not locked up. And the reason
Mm-hmm.
why they do that is because they know some prisons, like they got lifers. They don't have nothing to do but study when they open certain doors, close certain doors, when they let workers in, let people out,
Mm-hmm.
so forth and
Mm-hmm.
so on. So on that note, you are not just free to come and go as you please. You better come there with your soda, your water, your juice, everything that you need when you work there, because there's certain
Mm-hmm.
times they will let you in and certain times they will let you out. And if something
Mm-hmm.
goes down in that prison, when they call lockdown, you stuck like Chuck.
Mm-hmm.
You
That's
gonna be
true.
stuck in there.
I,
Mm-hmm.
So
I
I
know
mean,
that. I mean,
I
I
don't
know.
think.
Sometimes the other day they put them on lockdown and they count all the prisoners, make sure ain't nobody escape. You know what I'm saying? So I do know that because I remember one time I was on the phone with my guy and dude said lockdown time. He had to get off the phone with me. Yeah, even though we wasn't through talking. He had to hang up. He had to go to the state prison cell. He was telling them lock them down and count everybody. So I do know that,
Yeah.
but I'm
Yeah,
just saying
whenever
I ain't
it's
not a skin. I'm just saying that I won't be surprised if that happened. I will
I
not.
understand
I
right.
what you're
mean,
saying.
I just won't be
Okay,
surprised.
right. Go ahead,
Right.
Dr. Love. What was you gonna say?
Pretty much just to piggyback off what you guys are saying, when it's lockdown time, I don't care what you're doing. You have to go either stand in front of the door, or not lockdown, they call it count. If they say count over that PA, whenever it's count, you have to stop whatever you're doing, go in front of your door for count. But the commissary and the money, it is huge in there. And also think of the system. To me, the system allowed that type of money to come in for him to take it. And I've seen that happen plenty of times where like families have put money even for people to see the doctor there, because it costs too to see the doctors there as well, and to see the nurse. All of that costs. And then on Fridays they have like certain days you can buy big meals that cost $20-$30. So to be in jail per month, you can easily spend, if you big timing, 2,000 easily. And that is on the basics. Like she said, with JPay, if you want music, it costs. If you want a video chat, it costs. If you want a regular time, it costs. If you want an email, it costs. Everything costs. They can have name brand tennis shoes. They can have name brand socks now. So I don't think that what's his name is in there walking around in buddies. So yeah.
But they used to have name brand tennis shoes. They don't have name brand tennis shoes no more.
It
They
depends on
you
what
used to
state
walk
you
around
in.
in Nike, but so many people got killed over them. They don't have that no more. They have the shoes that you have to wear to put up in there.
It depends on what state you're in, and then also if you are at a camp. There are prisons and then there are camps. Because for the ones that go out and work, they consider them camps where they can
Yeah,
go out half the day and work. Those are like camps. I was about to name one, but you may know where I'm from at that point.
Yeah.
But yeah, they have camps and they have actual prisons, and the camps are the ones where they get to go out and work half the day.
but
So
those camps are for the people who are what they say less criminal. And
mhm.
I don't think life was get camps. Life was get prison.
Oh yeah, lifers don't get cancer. So hold
Yeah,
on, let me
they.
bring the conversation back for
Oh,
one
he has
second,
a
Lisa.
lifer.
Hold on one
Okay.
second. Lee said all prisons are now being operated by private corporation and not the state. Yeah, I don't know about that.
Oh,
Now let me
oh.
get back to this Jocelyn Savage for one second. This I'll call it a pamphlet, okay? This pamphlet had a lot of stuff in it. You can tell that she, unfortunately, is still broken, that she needs a lot of help. I think in this pamphlet, in some type of way, she's still crying out for help. I do believe that he still had some money somewhere, because he was controlling, not to a high degree, he was controlling a little bit from the prison, trying to still control these two young ladies, but the one was smart enough and she did get away. And Jocelyn, I think she was so wrapped up into R. Kelly that it's going to take a lot of therapy for her to even kind of heal herself. I get the feeling, but this is just my guess, that she perhaps might have been pregnant before he went away. And because she's not on social media, I wouldn't be surprised if she's probably already holding on to this baby, like the baby is here. And, it just, because she just put this thing out, it is kind of just known to us. And I do think what some people were speculating is they're probably trying to get married so that she won't have to legally ever be able to testify against him. Those are just some thoughts I wanted to kind of throw out there. Like I said, save your money, and so did the people who did put a review on Amazon. They said save your cash. So I mean, I see you chewing there, Canoe. I was going to ask you like your thoughts on it, but overall, right? I wait for. Oh, go ahead, Canoe. What are your overall thoughts on this whole situation?
First of all, why would you want to have a baby with him? First of all. Secondly, my whole thoughts on this, Diva, you already know what I told you. I give you your $15 back. You just see her in the street and you beat her down. That's all you need to do. I give your money back tomorrow. I'm just saying. Because this right here, it's like stuff we already knew. So we already knew this stuff. Why are you gonna put it back out here to make a quick buck? I mean,
Well,
it
no,
makes
I
no
don't.
sense.
I think for her though, right? Because she thinks it's a love story. She goes the love and joy of Robert, right? So I think that she does. First of all, I'm gonna say this. I know she's broken. I think
Right.
she doesn't even realize in her brokenness, she's thinking she's putting out, this love story about her and Robert, and she doesn't even realize how incriminating it is. To talk about the fact that, what he did, how he urinated in her mouth, to talk about the fact that he beat this other girl down. Um, I don't think she even realized what she wrote. And I do believe that she wrote this because it's not like it's high level or anything. I think she did put this out, but I don't think she realized, some of the things that she wrote was very incriminating. And she said more than once that, he brought around young girls. She said strangely young. That is messy.
Now let me
So, but
tell
but
you.
that's my thought on it.
Let
Sin, I added you back to the conversation. What would you like to say?
He's gonna beat her next time he see her. Putting all his business out there, strangely young. This girl is so. I feel so bad for her because she's still not woke. She thinks she is, but she's still not
Yeah,
Right.
woke,
and she's still
and
in
it's gonna come
love.
back to
That's what
bite
it
her
is.
really bad. And she's not. I don't know. She sounds like a what is that? The first grader where you learn how to write sentences and you have to go home with each word and write a sentence. Like I don't think she knows how to write. Did she end it with the end?
See, I'm just messing around with you. No, she did. Let me tell you something. No, she didn't, but she could have, right? And
Yeah.
like I said, the weird part is inside the book, nowhere is her name. Nothing about the author. I don't know, like I don't even know what this was meant to do, and maybe she's saying this is a sample of when the book is going to come out. Well, she should have charged us $5.99, but I'm gonna let that go. But like I said, nowhere on here does it say her name. It only says it on Amazon. When you go to purchase it. So you're saying that she needs money. You know what the thing is, though? I don't even. I, I don't even think it's about money for her and her thinking that on that particular level. I truly, truly feel that this chick thinks she wrote a love story. I think you remember she was also allegedly jealous of Azriel, even though she's saying that she was jealous of her. She was allegedly like jealous of her. And so I think she was always fighting to be number one. Even though when she wrote this, she makes it seem like she was number one. But from everything I heard, he wanted the other chick more than he wanted her.
Mm.
us see.
Well, that's interesting. That's interesting to know.
Cause see,
Yeah,
what I
she
was gonna say was, um, they anybody that's in the legal system, the prosecution, anybody gets a hold of
Wait,
that
hold on,
book.
Canelo, because somebody has it playing in the background because I'm hearing a little echo. If maybe everybody can mute for 1 second and then Canelo, go ahead and finish talking.
What I was gonna say, if anybody from the prosecution that's gonna, that's prosecuting this case, if they get their hands on that book, they don't need her to testify because that book just testified for her. And regardless if they're married or not, they don't need her. The book tells it all. So that's all they need. And she just screwed it up. So probably that's why her name is not in the book. Because she just realized she effed up really bad. And I agree with seeing. When Kelly see her again, he go get her for butt.
Mhm.
Well,
But
I just,
somebody, go ahead, go ahead.
but I was
uh,
just gonna say it is, if you think about it, it's true. That's why her name is probably not on it, because you remember you and I was
mhm,
trying to figure out why her name wasn't on it. That's probably
mm,
why.
right. That's so true. I just feel with her, all those girls, all those mothers. I am mad that the judge did not make every last one of them go through some type of therapy and help. And I would have threatened half of those mothers if I was a judge and said, if you don't get therapy for a year, you're going to jail for allowing a 14-year-old child. At that point, you allowed a child to be abused. So you abuse the child as well. So yeah, I don't understand why that judge or judges or whoever did not mandate this for all the girls that they found or came forward or whatever that's on the internet talking about he's my boo, he's my boo. Like no, all of you guys or all you girls need real psychological help because you're messed up.
This is America.
that's true. That's so true. But I'm just saying, from my point of view, I'm sorry, baby. The parents need to be locked up too because you knew where your child was. And I'm like, where your child at? You don't know where your child, especially your child is under age 17. If
And I
my
agree with
child
Well,
is
that. I
you know what,
okay,
totally.
you know what the problem is though. Everybody, um, how everybody parents differently, right? So
Hmm.
some people are very free, and their kid could be out all night, and as long as they get home a certain time, they cool with it.
But
It's
it was
messy.
way more than
Oh
that.
yeah,
These
it
girls
it
was
was nice, but
staying
some
night
of
after
them,
night.
right,
Hmm.
right. You know what, Dr. Love, but some of them, it was known fact that they said that the parents kind of offered up their child. But I don't want to throw the conversation off too much, but
Hmm.
people did the same thing with Michael Jackson.
Hmm.
Um,
That's why I
they
would
just
do it case by case. If I was
right.
them judges, I would take it case by case because each one is different. Now, if a girl was there a night, 2 nights, maybe a week, a little runaway, maybe if the mother was on drugs, certain things is understandable. But for those of you who had money put into your account, wired to
Yep,
you,
yep.
goodbye. I'll see you when I
now
see
I
you.
see you in prison.
Yeah,
Because that
I
means
agree
you
with you one
gave your
hundred
child
percent.
away.
And so Sherry
Yeah.
Hugg said, sadly, this is all she knows about love. That's what I got from this little pamphlet, also, right? So she is a product of, being abused, for lack of a better word, right? In touch. So that's all she knew. She also mentioned in this little pamphlet that she felt like he was her therapist. And someone else mentioned something very key. He groomed her, right? And so she just went from one bad situation to another one. Although she thought that he was her savior, he probably was worse than the people in her family that she felt was so horrible. But for
Hmm.
whatever reason, she fell in love with him. And she's still in love with him to this moment. And like I said,
Where
I
the
mean,
baby?
if
Did
we
she
could
have the
find her,
baby?
huh?
Did she have the baby?
We don't know, right? Because like I said, this pamphlet here, it gives no timeline. And she talks about it how girls were younger than her, but I don't know how old she was at the time of this story, right? We know how old she is now. And actually, I think someone told us 27. Well, 27 at this point in this time period right here is young. And so how long has he been in jail?
I think about a year.
It's only been a year, it hasn't been
I
longer.
think
It's been a
think
little bit
about
more than a year.
probably
It,
Or
like
how
almost
long
close
He's
has
to
got
this
two.
arrested in
case been
2020.
going on?
right.
Mm-hmm.
So, see, that's what I'm trying to see. Like, how, and I'm only asking because we could back up some of the timeline, right? If it's a year, we put it back at 26. If it's 2 years, we could put it back at 25. And so we know that this happened at least when she was in college, right? At the very least. And so we're going to, for speaking purposes, we'll say 18. So from 18 all the way up into 27, she was with this man doing, she was brainwashed.
Mm-hmm.
And
Diva,
18 is still
Diva,
young.
excuse me, Diva. Excuse me, I
Yes.
mean, I'm gonna put my thing on mute. I'm gonna use the bathroom right quick.
Okay, no problem. So, she was young. So I'm gonna say R. Kelly. So I don't know. It's messy and it's really sad. These
When
girls
was
need to
that
sue
Gail
him to get
interview?
any funds that comes on his books.
Yeah.
I think
When
yes.
did
I don't know
Gail?
whose is that. Whose TV is that?
Not
I
sure.
ain't got no TV.
No, I'm asking.
Oh no, that was probably Carlos in the background talking. Hold on.
Okay.
When did Gail have that interview also? Because they were investigating him even before that.
He was already locked up at that point, right?
Oh, was he?
I
It say
believe he was.
July, I mean, it say June 29, 2020, he was sentenced. Okay.
So okay,
He was
so in
sentenced or arrested?
no, arrested, you mean, right?
Sentenced or arrested?
It says sentenced. Let me
What date?
say too. Yep, he was sentenced on June 29, 2022. But this
Oh, okay.
case, I think, had been going on. Yeah, that's when he was
I
sentenced. They
think
said it
it
was
was
when
20. I said, when was R. Kelly arrested? I want to say it wrote here February 22nd, 2019.
Oh, I thought it was 2020. Okay.
Yes, they said 2019. And so here it is, 2022. So we know for sure like this all happened, of course, before 2019. Um, but the thing is, if that's the case, this baby would have to be a toddler, right? Unless somehow,
Mhm.
some way, he did get visit with her. But he was out of before he was out on bail for a minute, wasn't he?
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, he was when he went to McDonald's.
Yeah, because remember he also did the Gail King interview, and he was
Mm-hmm.
already in the trouble at that point.
Mm-hmm.
We gotta find out more. There's more to the story. Leslie saying there's no baby. So you think the girl is really delusional? Like, what would make her write this about the baby? Like, that's the part I don't understand. Now, see, here's the thing. In
She
this
could
little
write it.
pamphlet, but what?
She could.
Let's throw this out there though. In this pamphlet, she talked about the ring, and in real time, they're saying that this man is engaged. So if we can accept that the ring is true, why are we doubting the baby?
I would think because maybe she was pregnant when she wrote it and probably got rid of it or miscarried it. Anything could have happened. This is not the end of a story. This is just as far as she went, right?
Uh-huh, right, right. So you're right. I think you know what? It's something that we have to stay tuned into. We have to kind
She's
of
hoping
figure
so.
out, huh?
She's hoping so. She's hoping so.
She's
Yeah, there could be another book coming out from
well,
her.
listen, it better actually be a book and not this pamphlet for, like I said, $15. I mean, it did give us some information, but it really wasn't a bunch of nothing. We do
But you
know
know
that,
what?
uh-huh.
Diva, really fast. It might be kind of like Apple when some artists release their albums. You pay the whole amount until the rest of it downloads, and then you get the rest of it, but at that one price. So maybe she puts in the conclusion of the book. Maybe you'll be able to get that under the same. You know what I'm
You
saying?
think I'll be able to get it for free since I already paid this 14.99
Mm.
or 15.99,
Absolute,
whatever I
absolute,
paid?
absolutely.
Yeah,
Because
you
I
can,
really want you to pay with that. A bookmarker. Did
or
they give
she
you a
may have
bookmarker?
wanted to do a series and didn't have the money and wait for somebody to pick this up to help her. Because
You know
I
what
feel
though,
like
Dr.
she
Ruth,
left
the
out a
thing is
lot.
you can really well now with Amazon, to be honest with you, you can, especially the way she wrote this book, obviously nobody edited it. So
Oh, Jesus.
you can actually put right on your computer in the Word document, write your book and put it out on Amazon and get a upload a cover and everything, and you're done. You don't really need any money. You unless you're talking about you think somebody to give her a deal up front, maybe she's looking for that. Um,
Yes. Mm-hmm.
okay, maybe
Mm-hmm.
she's looking for a
Yes.
deal. I don't even
Mm-hmm.
know. I just wonder in my head, again, not trying to be shady to her. I wonder if she even is that smart. She's so used to
I was
being
just about to
controlled.
say that, Diva. I'm sorry. I was just about to say that. We're thinking
Well,
people. She's not.
well, you thinking that, but I was thinking like R. Kelly told her to do this. I wasn't even thinking it's her. If she told him she needs some money, he said, put a book out, get somebody to promote you, or however they do with the books. I'm not sure, but I don't think it was her. I think it was him. I think he's still running her brain.
But you know what though? He was so controlling about not making them practice what to say and not to say in an interview. He was very controlling in that way and didn't want anything negative. That's why I don't know if he would approve this because she tells clearly about the stuff that he claims never happened, about urinating in the mouth and all of that, about how he beat up this other girl. I don't think he would have wanted that out there.
Well, somebody got in her ear, even
Somebody
for
did.
him. Even for him, he know game over. Everybody in this world knows that all of these girls are not lying. All of
Right.
this has already been put out. Every single thing she said has already been put out. The world knows. But somebody got in her ear about this. Yeah.
Yeah, somebody got in her ear. Like I said, I tell you what, I couldn't find her on no social media. I did follow because you can follow her as an author on Amazon. Maybe I'll go back to that to see if there's some type of email address or something there. But I probably highly doubt that she would be willing to like respond or anything like that. But you never know. I could see on 5/11/2021 she was booked, so maybe then. Sheila, what do you mean? What do you
Sound like
mean
she
by
was
that?
booked.
She was booked, huh?
maybe he was rearrested at that time, or that's when he was actually booked after being rearrested. Because I'm sure he was arrested back in 2020.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
you're
He got
saying
an
that,
arraignment.
okay, so you're saying he was out, he was free up until May? Because I had thought that once they picked him back up, he couldn't afford the bail.
No, he was.
So
He well, I'm thinking when he got arrested in 19 is when we saw
Mm-hmm.
him at McDonald's afterwards, and then shortly
Mm-hmm.
thereafter he was rearrested, and then he wasn't able to get out again.
I
And
In
then they
got you.
tried to get him out
2021.
during
Mm-hmm.
they tried to get him out during C-19, and they wouldn't let him get out either.
I do
Mm-hmm.
remember that. You are right. So you know what, Sheila? I get what you're saying there. So perhaps she could have got pregnant around that time. Help me do the math because now it's only 2022, right? And you're talking about 9 months.
Oh, the baby
So
would have been born by then. By now,
Yeah,
the
I was
baby
gonna
would have
say
been
unless
born.
this baby is born and she keeping this, how we know somebody in her ear because someone told her, "Don't put your name on this book. This girl is not that intelligent." It's a lot of it's a lot of things you said that made me feel like someone told her to do this. But I do feel
Yeah,
like it's a baby born. I feel like they could be married. I just feel, or I don't know if the blogs are off of it like this to not have picked up if he got married in jail and if this girl had a baby. I'm not sure if they're on it or not, but I think it's more to come with this book and this story.
I do
maybe
too.
she, maybe her parents have the baby, or maybe her parents wrote the book. All
That's
information that's in the
true.
book is the
That's
same
true.
information we already all know. Anybody could have
Right,
wrote it.
right. The only tidbit that she threw out there was this pregnancy. Because like you said, and I think, but nobody heard about the engagement, I think, probably until this little pamphlet thing came out. Because all of that
No
was
one
recent.
cares.
you, all of that was recent. There will be a book like they did her IG Facebook. They will not be a
Mm,
book like they did her IG Facebook. Carla, what do you mean?
unless she trying to get a movie.
Well, again
Hopefully.
with the
I'm
movie,
back.
right? Unless, all right, no, Carla, Lisa. Um, unless they do, I'm gonna mute you for 1 second, Lisa. Your fan is loud, but you can come off if you got something to say. Um,
Hmm.
unless what she does is tell more of her time period as to when she was in the house, I don't think
Hmm.
that is going to matter to everybody. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I
Okay.
don't think anybody want to see a movie either.
Or
You
whatever they
right.
call them,
You
yeah,
right.
spin-offs and yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, not
It's
now.
stressful.
Of course, not now. It's too fresh. But we talking 10 years down the line. Yeah.
I don't think we'll care.
No, we want but there'll be a new generation.
Listen, I just, you know what? The only way I would really want to see it or hear about it if there's truly this baby out there. And
And
I
I want to hear
think
from the baby.
you want to hear from Sis, stop. You need to listen. If there's this baby out there, because again, it would be a mess. It would be a mess. Carla's saying it's a money trap. I mean, she's not going to get much money from this because people are not really going to buy this thing, especially not at 14.99. I think people may download it on their Kindle because $6 is $6. It's 5.99 to put it on your Kindle. I could see people doing that. I didn't drop it on Kindle because I can't have see now. I didn't want to be squeezing and looking on a computer screen, to read this little 17 pages here.
It
But
was only 170 words.
huh?
It was only 170 words.
It gave the word count.
No,
You messing with me? I'm here listening to you too.
I'm being messy, Diva. I'm being messy.
And it's
It
like,
was
oh
only
my
10 words per
goodness.
page.
I was like, oh, it gave the word count. But you know what? That's the book, guys. It is what it is. It was, the love and joy of Robert. Save your money. She didn't really give us much more detail, but I will say this: I do feel like she's absolutely broken. Go ahead, Lisa. What do you want to say?
I
You can
got
talk to
you. We gonna call
huh?
Benzo. We gonna call Benzo and say we want our money back. Okay. He gonna he let him pay that 14.99 for that book. Okay. Because when he keep going in space, he can throw the book out in space, okay? Because you let it go out in
Listen,
space, he can throw the book out in
I
space.
should write R. Kelly. I should write R. Kelly. Give me that. Give me some money off that off your book, that $500, and pay
Man,
me
you
back
got
this
Benzo because
14.99.
you write the Benzo because you bought it out Amazon, and tell Benzo he can throw when he out in space, he can throw the book out in space and see the aliens gonna come back. Girl, them aliens gonna throw that book right back to us. Watch. I'm telling you.
Hmm.
Them man,
It's only a
this a
two
fun. This what
star.
they got going on Earth. They gonna look at that book. Them aliens. They gonna look. They gonna throw it back to Earth. I'm telling you. You know, Benzo like going out in space. So hey, you know what I'm saying. So I'm just saying.
Leslie, she didn't talk about that. The way she talked about it, like she's still estranged from them. But I don't know what it is that she could be doing now to make any money, right? Because she was with him all of that time, pretty much from what, 18. We're going to make a roundabout guess, all the way up to, we're going to say, at least 24, 25. I don't know how long after R. Kelly was
23.
actually, yeah, 23, right? I don't know how much
Hmm.
long after R. Kelly was arrested that she was able to stay in his quarters, in his house or whatever. I don't know. But she said in the book when they delivered the ring to her was at her house. I mean, we don't know. It's messy. It's really messy. But I'm gonna close this thing out. Yo, thanks for coming with me to hear this book reading. So before I close out, Sin City, what are your final thoughts on this book?
I don't know. Okay, the one thing it did do for us, we got a chance to get together with you again,
Oh, thank you.
and the book I think is a cautionary tales for dum dums. Like she is really putting R. Kelly in another predicament he's not ready for, and
Right.
once he gets wind of this, I promise you she might be already sporting a black eye because he's gonna give her a two piece for sure. And I'm not trying to be
Yeah,
funny. I feel really bad for her because there's nobody there guiding her, and she think that she has had an awakening when she hasn't. I mean, somebody write her and ask her to look up the word epiphany. She needs an epiphany right about now. She's
yeah.
lost. She's
She
wandering,
needs
and
to
these are
follow
mental
her
health.
own. She needs to follow her own words. Let me see this last quote that she wrote. She said, "Don't be afraid to get away when things get tough. Run, run, far, far away. Joy." Moral of
As
the story: follow your dreams. With the follow the dream, follow your dreams. Flow with the unexpected things of life. She, she's lost. She's lost. I feel bad for her. I hope that there isn't a child and that she has to raise, R. Kelly's child, but I don't know. This is interesting. I'm gonna keep my ears to the ground on this particular story. Dr. Love, how do you want to close this thing out? The Love and Joy of Robert. That's what this reading was.
Well, this book I see is only two-star, which is not good.
Hmm.
I really do think there's more to come. I know it's a reason behind her putting this out. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. And of course, I always enjoy your channel so
Oh,
much.
thank you.
So
Oh,
yes,
thank you.
yes, and that's pretty much it.
Thank
how
you.
many stars do you
Um,
give it, Diva? Since you read it,
huh?
how many
Oh
stars do you
yeah.
give it since you've read it?
Oh my God! Don't do that. Stop.
Yes.
I'm
Uh
right.
huh. Come on,
I'm,
dragger. Come on, dragger.
Listen, I'm right with these people. It's two stars. I think it's really sad. I think it's a lot of underlining messages. Like, why isn't your name anywhere on this pamphlet? I mean, like I said, when you go to Amazon, you can pull it up by her name, and her name is underneath the title on the Amazon page to try to sell it. But in this book, nowhere is there her name. This ultrasound is probably a picture that just came off the internet because, like I said, it doesn't give a date. I want to say nine. Listen, I had my son 17 years ago, but I really want to say that the ultrasound says on there the date that the
It
ultrasound
was
was done.
performed. Yes,
Yeah, it was
most
performed.
definitely.
Yeah,
Most
and I
definitely.
want to say now, granted, we don't need her to leave her. Well, I mean, we know her name, so she could have left her name on there in the date. So
Exactly.
yeah, so it's like she doesn't want to. It's like she's telling us stuff, but she really doesn't want to tell us. Like it's real messy. Because of course, we would have questions if that ultrasound did have a date. We would have questions as to like, well, is the baby born? We would be doing the math. and she
Yes,
doesn't want us to do the math. So it's real messy and sketchy,
just
to
like
say
her,
the least.
just like
You
her.
said you said just like Lisa. How do you want to close this thing out?
Baby, you get the book 1 star, and I'm gonna tell you something, baby. You know how much I love you, baby. I missed my Beverly Housewife because we got on me last night. You gave me a whooping last night. So even though I wasn't, even though mentally I was not there, mentally I was not there, but you gave me a whooping. So I miss my Beverly Hills for you. And so that's how I show you how
Oh,
much I love you, y'all. That's how much I love her, y'all. You don't know how much, sometimes, you don't go, y'all really, you don't go in meals, y'all really let me tell my story. Sometimes like you did tonight. And like I said, I can understand with her. I can identify all the stuff she's been going through because I've been in an abusive relationship that I got out of mine. And it seems like she really ain't got out of hers, but really, really now it's something too, because now she got a baby. It sounds like she got a baby. And so she got to raise this baby on her own now, you know what I'm saying? So she said it's a diamond ring. I don't know it's a diamond ring because I ain't seen no diamond ring. So I don't know what's going on with her, but she do need help. Baby, go get you some help. Go sit down somewhere, raise your child properly. And I said, all them parents, when the child didn't come home, if your child was beyond 17, under 17 years old, baby, you should have been locked up just like R. Kelly. Because, see, ain't no way my daughter wouldn't have stayed out 2 or 3 nights. And I ain't know the hell she was.
yeah. That's
That's,
problematic. And that's probably a conversation we could really have for a whole nother day too, right?
yeah.
How people will they will drop all of their morals when it's a celebrity. Um, and they lose their mind and they would do stuff that I would hope they would not normally do with others. But to me, I don't care who you are. Not just leaving my kid anywhere. I don't care if you're a celebrity. I don't care who you are. Sherry Hug, you said I really think she thought she was helping R. Kelly. I do. And I think she was telling a story. Lisa, I didn't miss that. Let me tell you this. Thank you for missing your Beverly Hills for me. I hope you can catch it on demand. Okay, because we're gonna chat about Beverly Hills tomorrow, my regular scheduled time at 8 o'clock. Thank you again for being here with me for this story. We got to keep our ears to the ground, right? And see exactly how this pans out. Is there really a baby? Will they ever really truly get married? Will they ever truly really get married? And
Love you too, Sheila.
can you get married? I guess you can, right? You can
Yeah,
go
you
to
get
the jail
married
and get
too.
married, right?
Baby, you ought to
Yeah,
seen the ring that my dude mother bought me. It was the big rock. So I gave the ring back. So
that was nice. But so you can go to the jail and get married then, right?
mhm,
Yeah, you can.
You can. All right.
Yes. Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's
They
interesting.
have
I
a
mean,
lot of
why would
wings in jail.
you said there's
There's a
there's a
lot of
lot of
wings.
weddings in jail?
Them kind of
Listen, they
positions are
better they
big.
better than me. They better than me. At
And
best, if I was going to consider it, you would have to be out and free, and you can't have no 30-year sentence. I'm sorry, like that's
as the
insane.
as Gabor would say, no.
the man them boys say, don't you remember? Do you not remember those boys that murdered their parents? Those Beverly Hill
Yes.
parents?
Yep.
Both of them got
Melendez.
married in jail and they got life.
Really?
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. They sure did. Both
That's
of them.
crazy. Yes, you can marry a prisoner. Yeah, I mean, I guess to each his own, right? But listen, guys, thank you for watching. I'll see you tomorrow night for Beverly Hills recap. Love you all.
Love
Have a
you
Love
good
you,
too.
night.
Lisa.
Thanks,
Love you.
everybody.
Bye,
Bye
Okay,
Lisa.
bye.
bye.
Bye, Diva. Bye,
Bye.
Bye.
everybody.
Come on, thing cut off. Hey.